Hello everyone, it's Shane Kanto, your Wasteland reviewer, and I'm here to review Netflix's new film, The Dirt. And this is a film about the band Motley Crue. And I enjoy their music quite a bit. I knew that their whole entire story is full of debauchery. And this is in a long line of musical biopics that deal with a lot of drug use, a lot of sex, and among other films that also deal with a lot of these things. And how does this film put itself differently than some other films is it tries to take a couple of different kinds of chances in terms of how its story is told. And this film is directed by Jeff Tremaine, who brings a lot of energy to this film and kind of puts it in a way that it's paced and just like in your face to the point where it's like you're not really looking away while this film's going on. And it could be sloppy at times, honestly, and it could feel like this is too beating you over the head with things. But there's a lot of energy, it really draws you in a lot of the time, and honestly, I was pretty entertained throughout most of the film. And that really worked for The Dirt. And this film is about a band that is filled to the brim with debauchery and ridiculousness. There's one particular scene with a famous other musician at a poolside, and some weird stuff goes on. And this film just goes there. And that's one of the interesting things about this film is it really doesn't pull punches. Does this film get portrayed in a way that's any different than just like, here's the thing, here's when they met, here's when they got their band name, blah, 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 blah. This is when they broke up, this is when they got back together. It's basically that kind of story. And the writing for this film, done by Amanda Adelson, and this is based off of a book written by members of the band. So obviously, it's a little biased. But the idea is, it can get repetitive. There's a lot of the same stuff. It's pretty straightforward. It's exactly what you would expect from a musical biopic. You get those particular beats. But there are things that make this stick out a little bit. There is a lot of narration. I don't think the narration is as interesting as it could be, and also makes it fall into a lot of telling us things. But there's fourth wall breaking in this film too. And I think that works most of the time and makes it interesting and adds a different dynamic to this film. And Mick Mars, who's the guitarist for Motley Crue, honestly, his character in this film is basically the one that brings the most out of it. Because he's the like down and like more just muted character in the story, and the way how he perceives everything and how he interacts with everything is actually pretty interesting. And going into that, Ewan Ryan, who plays Mick Mars, who's from like Game of Thrones and Inhumans, I think he brings the best performance. He brings something different than everybody else, and he really brings a very dynamic performance in this compared to everybody else's. Despite the fact that everybody else brings a lot of energy and very earnest performances and do surprisingly well. Like Douglas Booth, who plays Nikki Sixx, and Daniel Weber, who plays Vince Neil, and Machine Gun Kelly, of all people, playing Tommy Lee. They bring a lot of energy, and they seem like they're having a fun time, which helps you have a fun time. But honestly, this film is pretty hit or miss. It's kind of like, you've seen this before, they don't really do anything new. It is entertaining, and that's what it is. And really, I think one of the big takeaways from this film is, this is another musical biopic. And not in a good way, like, here's another great musical biopic. No, here's just another musical biopic. And it's pretty straightforward. You get what you expect, and if that's what you want, that's what you get. And if you're into these crazy, over-the-top, debauchery-filled stories of musicians and rock stars, go watch The Dirt. It's on Netflix. It's an easy watch. It's a zippy watch too because the pacing's very well done and it's just like bam, 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 bam. And there it is. Those are my thoughts. Comment below and let's talk some movies. And thank you as always for supporting your Wasteland reviewer.